Hello there and welcome back to my channel. So this is part 3 of the book blanket vlogs. So in this one we are looking at Orbital, which is the book we're looking at now, and The Women by Kristin Hannah. So without further ado, let's carry on. So this square, I already started on the bus. I was just so excited to get going, so I'm sorry you missed the beginning. But I'm just doing an outside round because I realised that doing it on a bus, it was one round too small. So I took another colour off the cover and did one more round. So anyway, Orbital by Samantha Harvey. So this won the Man Booker Prize. It probably wouldn't have been my normal read, but then I don't know what my normal reads are anymore. I mean, I still read some fluff, but I'm reading a lot more outside the box now. So yeah, it wouldn't have normally been on my list. I think it might be the first time I've read a Man Booker Prize winner. I did try the Hilary Mantel Wolf Hall. I do need to go back to that actually. But I think that might have been better as an audiobook, to be honest. But anyway, we're talking about Orbital. So Orbital is surrounding some astronauts who are just carrying on with their everyday life, as it were. But it also allows us, for a very short book, it had an awful lot in it, because you can appreciate, they're just going about their lives on the spaceship, and they've got their little routines that they do every day, and they're quite thankful for the routines that they do every day, and they look at the Earth from a slightly different angle and a viewpoint than the rest of us would have done. So yeah, I found Orbital relatively calming as a book because, they were all going through their routines. They were all, whether they were doing the science experiments or whether they were, just hanging out or, whatever they were doing. But one of the Russian cosmonauts likes to pick up a radio signal from Earth, and it's like a cosmic phone-in, which is really interesting. And it's almost like they're so far away from the Earth, but yet they've got that connection. So they've got all their routines to one side, and then they've got that connection to the Earth. And it's when they can talk to each other, and it's just beautiful. If anyone, I mean, it wasn't the longest book on the planet, but it was probably one of the most beautiful ones I've read all year. I didn't expect to enjoy it because, as I say, it's not my normal read, and I generally haven't read Man Booker Prize winners. I usually put them on the educated genre rather than actually, I could actually read this, and to be honest, I probably could read most of them. But yeah, so that was Orbital. Okay, so the second book of this video is The Women by Kristin Hannah. I don't know, well, I do know where to start with this one. This was my first 5-star read of the year. I didn't expect it to be honest. I don't know, I've never been into books about war, particularly. It was only when my ex-boss said, here, read this, and ironically I was looking for a book with a red cover, which was slightly ironic, but you know, it is what it is. And that's when The Women came about. I haven't read a Kristin Hannah before. I have looked at Firefly Lane and those ones, and to be honest, they're on my next. I've got Firefly Lane and the follow-up on my to read pile, so I feel like they're going to be the next ones that I go for. But anyway, back to The Women. Well, so it is about war, but what interested me the most is that it wasn't about the World War. I don't know why. I think I might have overdone it at school, but you hear all these things about the First and Second World War that sometimes it's interesting to read about other types of war. And this book is based in the Vietnam War. And the main character, she's a nurse, and she decides that as her brother has signed up to the Navy, she wants to sign up too. And so she goes and signs up. Her parents absolutely can't stand the fact that she has signed up for the army. The reason she signed up for the army is because she couldn't get into the Navy, because she wanted to get out there straight away, and they wouldn't let her, basically. You have to do a certain amount I want to say inland, but you have to do a certain amount before they send you off somewhere else. So Frankie signed up for the army. She's got her basic training down, and she's about to go out to Vietnam where her brother is. And, you know, she just wants to be able to do something, and she wants to do something helpful and something useful. And then the family get the visit that no one wants, that her brother has been killed in action. She's still down to go. Her parents don't want her to go, because at the end of the day, you know, the war has already taken one of their children, and they don't want it to happen to Frankie. But she decides to go anyway, and she gets posted out. She's posted out she gets posted out to somewhere first in Vietnam, where it's not quite front line. It's more of they look after people once they've had their care on the front line, and then they're sort of more a rehab and a surgery, and doing like surgery options. So yeah, so she does that for a little while, and she meets a very lovely chap who, unfortunately, and this is the thing that keeps happening, is that they're all in the war zone. So, you know, they get split up, some of them die, and it's just... But she makes some really amazing friends, and they stay with her throughout the whole book. I mean, I won't tell you how it ends, but you get to see the war, and you get to see what happens to the people who went to the war. So when she comes back from the war, when she comes back from Vietnam, she finds that her mental health is suffering, and that she's struggling to get back into what we consider normal life, but, you know, civilian life. And it turns out that all of the options for counselling and everything, they're all based around veterans who are male. They don't think that, or for those that are on the front line, it's not made for people, in theory, who were part of the medical corps, which, yeah, because apparently they didn't see the front line, and she didn't really see the front line, she saw it a little bit, but really that doesn't make any difference. You're still technically in a war zone, and she's technically still struggling. She does a lot of drinking, she does a lot of, you know, let's just say she doesn't make all the best decisions in life. And her parents, they kind of have her back, but not quite in the same way. So she then leaves home, and because she realises that that's not the Frankie she was. She's not the same Frankie that she was when she left. So yeah, it was an absolutely amazing book. It was an empowering book. And to be honest, I was hooked. I listened to it, but I was hooked all the way through. I was listening to it rather in like 4 or 5 hour chunks, because it was almost like, I need to listen to a bit more. I need to listen to a bit more. So yeah, so that's The Women. And I look forward to listening or reading anything else that Kristin Hannah has written, because it was, I want to say, beautiful. Obviously it's not happy, but it was beautifully done. And and I think sometimes that's what you need in a book. And it was amazing. I felt like I learnt something. I felt like I really had an affiliation with the I really, really wanted the characters to succeed in what they were trying to do and come back from the war well. So yeah, so that's The Women, my first 5-star read of the year. So I should have said this at the beginning, but if you like what you're seeing, then please like, subscribe, do all the YouTubey things if you want to. To tell you a little bit about my book blanket, I'm doing a square for every book that I read. And then I'm also doing a row. I'm doing a square with a row for every day with how much I've read and how much I've listened to. So this is going to be a huge blanket, I've realised this week. Now I've done some of the 1 row a days, and I'm catching up January. I'm finding that actually it's going to be much bigger than I thought. But, you know, that's what's part of the excitement and part of the challenge. So the idea is you're going to get a square video every week. It generally comes out on a Monday. And then other videos about the blanket and other things like my journaling and things will come out on a Wednesday or a Friday. So yeah, as I say, if you want to join for the journey, then please do, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.